Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me here today. We are on episode 71, and this episode is a first of a first and an exciting one. Luke, how are you doing today?
Good. Feel a little different because I'm sitting somewhere different, right?
I'm surprised you're not drinking a spotted cow right now.
Yeah, I had a couple last night with Dad, so...
I've heard that just is on tap water in Wisconsin.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I think most Wisconsin people are just kind of like, yeah, it's
spotted cow. People in Minnesota, that's like a very...
a treat.
It is a treat. Yeah. So it's official. You are a Wisconsin resident.
Yep.
Congrats.
Go to the good side of the river.
Hey, you know what? It's not the bad side.
Yeah. No, yeah. We got a sweet little spot here. Got super lucky and kids love it. We went out on the river Saturday, I think it was, and went out with some friends and we were getting ready to go, and Liam just goes, I love being on vacation.
Oh,
I was like, well, buddy, that's fun, but we're not on vacation. This is
life.
This is real life now.
That's exciting, man. You know, God is good. Like, it's been the fun thing about doing this podcast. 'Cause, for both you and I, it's like, for people listening, it isn't like we just do this podcast. We both have full-time jobs. We both have 2 kids, and this is a grind by the edge of our seat stuff. So it when we get a chance to record, it's time out of our day and stuff, but like, it's also fun now to like kind of live through that story timeline of like, you were going through a high stressful time for the last couple weeks.
Oh, a couple months.
and here we are now.
Yeah. No, it feels good to kind of just relax, and now I get to kind of start decorating the little pod studio down here, and
heck yeah,
it's fun. And I got like, I've been eyeballing in my backyard. I got like from the deck, or from the top deck, it's like 55 yards from the deck to the tree line. So I'm like, I get put a little 3D shoot back there. I'm gonna get out there one of these evenings. The mosquitoes are pick you. Oh, they will pick you up and take you away.
Do you have the swamp ground a little bit close to you?
No, I'm up on top. So, okay. I mean,
that's nice.
Yeah, just thick woods. So I'm going to try and get out. I got just over like a quarter acre of woods behind there. So I'm going to throw out a cell camera and see what's shaking.
Are you guys, do they have a mineral ban where you're at, or no?
Yeah, you can't bait them. So, I mean...
But you couldn't put out a salt lick?
I got to look at the regs more.
Okay.
But just looking at like onyx and topography, I mean, my backyard kind of goes down to the woods, because we're up top. Yeah. And then there's kind of a natural funnel from the top down to the bottom, right, where I could, throw up a stand quick, and... Yeah. It'd be something where I could just go out maybe with the kids. Nothing crazy.
Well, just something to get out and, you just see a couple deer and stuff like that. It's, I just think of like the stuff that we've had here in town. Like unfortunately where I'm geographically at, we can bow hunt in Brainerd, but we can't bow hunt where we're at, which is so unfortunate considering the amount of bucks that I've had in my backyard in the last 2 years, but it's better than nothing though.
Right. Yeah.
So today we have some fun stuff. Like I said, the last 2 podcasts now, we've kind of dove back into getting into talking about a little bit about hunting, getting out of the other stuff. So I figured, what a better time here. We can start talking about a little bit of bow hunting, a little bit of duck hunting.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
It's
mid-July, so it is right around the corner.
So kind of first question I've got for you. So we're talking bow hunting now, a little bit between core and daylight ranges and where mature bucks actually go in October. So I know kind of the first episode we did here, kicking things up, we talked primarily about early season setup and kind of getting tree stands set up and all that other type of stuff. But let's just talk a little bit about, in terms of home ranges for these bucks, especially like you now living where you're going to be in bluff country, like that's kind of unique into that aspect. So just tell me a little bit, kind of talking about those core ranges, those deer maybe living within bluff country.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel like a mature buck has probably a core area of like 5 to 15 acres maybe. And so you got to be in the bubble between, opener and October till you get to that mid to late time. And they're just not going to leave it during the daylight really, so you got to know the spot, it's tough if you don't. You got to do, scouting, trail cameras can help, but they can only literally tell you so much in that, 180 degree view. So you can do a little bit of that. Scouting obviously helps, just looking for sign, natural features, funnels, ridges, benches, saddles, you name it, kind of insert here. Just kind of looking for those areas, trying to find pockets of cover, where they're, especially with bluff country, thermals are huge. They can really set themselves up to where it's like, good luck, buddy. You're good luck getting on that guy. Cause it's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, nothing beats boots on the ground. It's tough, trying to do it right now because it's, like I said, the mosquitoes would pick you up and take you away. The, undergrowth is thick as jungle. And so you just got to kind of figure it out. That's kind of what happened when we had that lease down by, southeastern Minnesota, and got into it in the summertime and just didn't have any clue and just slowly started to learn it. And then, life happens and didn't get any more time out there as after the few years we were there, but you just gotta.
Do you feel like, I certainly think like the older a buck gets, I feel like his home range shrinks tremendously.
Yeah. But
in terms of like season wise, from early season to mid season to late season, do you think a buck's, we're talking 4.5 and older. Do you think a buck's home range stays the same or does it change throughout the season?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember some of those GPS collar studies. I think it's probably a mixture of both.
Well,
I think obviously early season unless he gets pressured and bumped out of there,
yeah,
he's probably hanging out in that 5 to 15 acre area, probably 90% of daylight, and then probably 95, and then that 2.5% at sunup, 2.5% at sundown. That's about all you're gonna get a chance at him. So you can't. I mean, not saying you can't, but hunting the outside fringe area of his core spot, good luck. By the time he gets to you, it's going to be too dark. You're going to be crawling out of your tree stand. You're going to spook him.
Yeah.
But, late season, like you were getting at, or mid, even that late October kind of time frame where you get that first real good cold front.
Yeah.
Something happens, something switches in their brain where they start thinking about breeding does and then they get more on their feet. They get a little bit more lackadaisical a little bit, but still sometimes those older bucks, I mean, they just, they know.
Yeah. I mean, I always think there's always that summer to rut transition. And then that transition from summer to their staging areas for fall stays continuous through the winter. But I've always just kind of thought, the older the deer they get, the smaller it gets. I mean, that's the cool thing about farm country. I mean, you could have it doesn't matter on age, but we'll just say a 5.5, 6.5-year-old buck that might live in the same quarter acre pocket on a hinge, not on a hinge cut, but on a corner post brush pile on 2 fields that conjoin together. And you might live there because it's the perfect little thermal where it's dropping down. And good luck getting to them, But it is interesting just how, about August to September, or whatever that is, 10th, that transition to their fall habitat where they're going to stick out for the majority of the season. And then, late season food's king, wherever they're going to end up with that. But it's, it's interesting to kind of just see of how, as the deer gets older too, of how that time frame of a time window just gets shorter and shorter where, you're trying to get out and kill that deer and he might only come out the last 20 minutes because he's only getting up, 100 yards from his bed. And that's all the farther he's moving in light.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit now, kind of just talking about kind of like bedding to feed. And like, once again, I keep grilling you here on with hill country stuff, which is, I know it's semi new to you, but just talking like more terrain funnels now and just kind of like how those apply to hill country. And then I can maybe kind of talk about that more in like farm flatland stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're obviously just kind of thinking, switching my brain to South Dakota a little bit, because it's sort of similar. But, they're going to be probably bedded up on the leeward side of a, ridge, hill, whatever, so that, they can see everything below them. And then if there's anything behind them, they're going to smell you. So trying to crack that code, it's just, like I said, you got to, a lot of times with, like, in my opinion, it's like you got to, and it's just, this comes with hunting, and we've talked about it on here before, and just experience is like, don't go into if you have a honey hole spot where you're like, that buck's in there, in that 5 acre spot, right? Let's say, he's in there. That's his core area. You do not go in there until the conditions are absolutely 100% perfect. And you could maybe get away with like maybe some fringe wind or something, but it's like, I'd have a hard time wanting to hunt a fringe wind like early October, where I could hunt a fringe wind like October 25th and on, because I just have more confidence that buck's going to be on his feet earlier. So, I mean, that's a little bit of it. It's just, everything comes down to pressure too, obviously, unless you have hundreds of acres that is just you out there and there's no pressure. I'm just trying to think, ridge tops, it's, I think it kind of depends on the property, depends on where you're at, depends on just how food's laid out. They may bed up high and drop down in the evening, just with thermals, and then vice versa. But, in South Dakota, I feel like a lot of times that we would see them come up out of the bottoms in the evening to feed. So like I said, it's just super dependent on where you're hunting, the terrain, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I couldn't agree more. And, it's, relaying it like back to farm country, we're back by the farm. It's like, I just, you think of like funnels and stuff like that, like they exist, but it's just so different because our tree cover is just so sporadic, where it's like, right, you might be hunting literally a T-post on an intersection of 2 bean fields that conjoin, and there's 3 trees there, but the deer take that route for whatever reason it is, or, you might be on the inside pocket of a bean field on a small tree line. It's interesting, but it is fun to hear you say that, because I think there is a lot of correlation where, in terms of like hill country hunting out in South Dakota, once we started doing it, I had zero experience really hunting hill country in Wisconsin at that point in time. But it's been fun to learn and watch thermals in South Dakota, and then bring that back to hunting in hill country back in southeastern Minnesota, and then in Wisconsin too, of like how they're a little different, but it's the same concept in a sense. There's maybe just not as many benches and saddles that kind of exist in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. And yeah, it's completely different. But I mean, even kind of moving on to, your next topic here, where you're leading this, is like, when you can identify, like you were just talking, like those T, spots where you can surgically strike in there, whether it's, bash a group of bucks, I think that's a time where you can really target them on beans, or that first acorn drop, maybe, getting into early October there. And so like when that happens, and if your property, like that's the time, right?
Yeah. But not even that, like, I think like that's the fun thing about public hunting, is where it's like, why wouldn't you go in there? Like white acorns are dropping. You mark 3-4 trees on onyx, and it's like just in there last weekend, and they're fresh and they're dropping. Like someone's ringing the dinner bell right now. It's like, you got to get in there when it's happening. Otherwise you're too late,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just comes with knowing the property. Like if you know what this buck does year in and year out, go get him. But if it's borderline or risky, just wait.
Yeah.
You got the best days of the season coming up.
Well, yeah, and that's the hard thing. I mean, like, there's that fine line of like what's too far. I mean, like, I'm sure you felt that feeling before, like either when you're scouting or hunting, but probably more of like the scouting hybrid type hunt of where you're scouting for fresh sign, looking for a stand to go hang, just in particular, probably on public, of where you not like your kind of like your spidey senses start tingling. And it's like, God, should I go farther? You walk by that one fresh scrape and it's like, well, you already put your boots on the ground. Your scent's all over this. It's like, it's too late now. Mm-hmm. I've felt that too many times where it's the same thing where it's all of a sudden you push, because we've done that in South Dakota how many times where it's all of a sudden you push another 30 yards and it's like, yep, there you go.
Oops, bye.
See you later.
Watch him as he leaves. Waves goodbye. Oh. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, for me, like it's gotten to be, like these last few years, it's fun to get out on opener, go slock a doe. Mm-hmm. But I used to be, obviously before kids, hunting as every damn weekend, trying to get out, and it just comes with learning. And if I can schlock a doe open, had a little gnat buzz in my tower here.
Jacking you.
Yeah, but if I can schlock a doe opener, I honestly may not hunt till mid October or even, like I said, like that 25th time frame, because it's just so risky, I don't want to go in there where it's like if you have a buck that's patterned, if you know your property, where you're public, if you've been public land hunting, and like with public land hunting, I feel like it's a chess match. Obviously, you sit out there, let's say September 28th, and you're like, you see this buck right at sundown. Well, I can't hunt till October 4th now because of work or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go a little bit closer, and, I got to, obviously a key tip with this, and I get guilty about not keeping best notes and stuff as the season goes on. But like, if you see a buck, just put it in your like iPhone notes and just be like, just write the conditions down, what he did, where he was. And then next time you feel like you're going to go out, you look at the conditions on the weather app, not the same, or they're the same. It's like, okay, chances, you just start to try and pattern that deer each time you go out. And like I said, it's kind of a chess match.
Well, I think another thing that's they've been around forever, but with trail cameras too, where it is crazy to see a deer do the same thing 2 years in a row. Like talking, like I'm thinking just like Babe in particular. He's been one where it was like, oh, what were the dates? There's definitely dates that I wasn't home, because why would I be home? And it was like, I think it was like September 27th. We had like a southeast wind that rolled through. Yeah, like a southeast wind that would roll through the farm. And it was, the barometer was at like a 31. So it was just like that typical pre-front storm. But this is early season in Minnesota. We're talking the 27th, which is still pretty early. But same time, same spot, 2 years in a row. And then not another daylight sighting till like October 27th, talking the week of Halloween, where different stand set up, similar wind, different stand. And it's just like, but same trail camera picture, literally identical, 2 years in a row. So it is cool to see that they have that like natural instinct ability where they show up same place, same time. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. They are creatures of habit until they're not.
Well, until they get to be just old and just beyond wise.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, pre-rut is the best. I mean, like if I had to pick one day, I think it'd probably be Halloween.
Like 31st?
Yeah.
Evening, morning?
Depends on everything.
Yeah.
If it's hot, then I'm going to change my date. But, there's something about that time of year where something's going on in the woods.
Would you throw an all day sit on Halloween?
It goes back to the conditions. If it's, ideally it's like you're getting a cold front blowing in on Halloween. We've had years where Halloween's like 30 degrees or less, and we've had years where it's 75 degrees. So if it's 75 degrees, I'm not putting my butt in a tree stand probably. But if it's 30 degrees, I'm going to be itching to be done, you know, well, probably not be done with trick-or-treating, but I'll be hopefully getting out in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that's the sad thing is like before we know it, we're going to be done trick-or-treating.
Yeah,
know?
right, exactly.
We're gonna be taking the kids out to the woods and be like, yeah, Halloween's fun, but this is more fun.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Trick or treating's fun, but I'll be much more excited when they're.
I'm right there with you, man. I think, gosh, I would say it's all weather front dependent, but anywhere from the 27th to the 31st of Halloween, I really do think Halloween is a magical night to be in the tree stand, even if the weather's not right. This is talking more particular on the farm back home, but even with running a lot of the trail cameras that I've ran up north and a couple other properties, it's like it just really seems that second front of October, which usually would fall around like the 15th, something like that, or maybe even later into Halloween, and then like that third front, that last big one of the which usually falls on Halloween is like the one that really kicks them into like high gear where it's like they've been hitting scrapes for probably a week already, 2 weeks, and they just really are getting after like checking and getting kind of check, especially the really mature bucks. I think if you're going to kill 5.5 and older deer, one of your best times is to kill them literally the week kind of as the pre-rut is really kicking off for sure.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be late October.
Dude, don't say it because it's going to go by fast.
Yeah.
We said this every year. It's just like, and it's gun season. All right.
Right. Yes, sir.
Just an offbeat one. When does the Wisconsin season start?
Gun?
Or bow, gun, all of it. I don't know.
I think bow's the same.
Okay.
Let's get the old Google out.
And then what's your deer limit for where you guys are at?
I don't know. I haven't even
got that far.
I haven't gotten that far. I still got, maybe probably see some boxes, man. Guns November 22nd.
Oh man, that is going to be so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, please adopt that philosophy. That would be.
Yeah, I've never understood
nice.
The super early gun season, but I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Nope. And you can rifle hunt now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Huh. Yeah, I mean, like kind of the last one I want to talk about, and this is kind of relevant because I think I'm actually going to make a switch this year, but I want to talk broadheads. And I know you've kind of juggled around with a little bit of everything, and you talked about using the new beast ones, which I don't know if you bought her yet or not, but how do you feel? Where do you stand? Or where are you at between the mechanical and fixed blade debate? Because I feel like people have beaten this horse to death, but I don't know if we've actually talked about it.
I mean, I feel it's kind of one of those things that the old saying, opinions are like, you know what? Everyone's got one. I think it's so dependent, you know, like
talking specifically, we'll just say whitetails.
Yeah.
Whitetails.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you're talking elk, then I'd be fixed blade probably all day long. Deer's a little different, smaller animal. I've never, knock on wood, had an issue with a mechanical. Nice thing with those is you get massive wound channels. They fly like a field tip. I don't know. I've used both. I've had success with both. I've never, like I said, knock on wood, I've used Rage, no collar,
the
hypodermics. Yeah, I blinked there for a second, and they work. I mean, when they work, guys. And so far they've worked for me every time. So no, like that doe I shot opener last year, she went like 40 yards and was dead. So
dead. But
that's not saying that, fixed blade wouldn't have done the exact same thing. I mean, a perfect shot's a perfect shot. That's where my head goes to most of the time, is put the work in, shoot for your exit hole. You know what I mean? Know the anatomy of a deer. If it's quartering a wave, quartering to you, broadside, whatever, get that down. Go shoot some 3D courses this year or this summer. That helps. Honestly, I shoot it's a mental thing, but I shoot way better on a 3D target than I do just a standard block target.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because I just think it's boring, I guess. I don't know, but
natural instinctive killer.
Yeah, that's right, I guess. But yeah, I don't really have an opinion on them. I've used both. I like both. I probably will use the Rage hypodermics this year because I got like 6 of them still. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I've shot, with my trad bow and stuff. I think I have the buzz cuts from Magnus, and they've worked great. I've only killed 1 deer with them, but in terms of, my whole entire life, I've shot Rage hypodermics, and before that, I shot the chisels. And I think the only 1 year that I deviated, I think I shot the Mega Meats from GH5, the prime ones, and that was when my bow went whack on my bow, so it didn't even count. But I don't know. It's all relative, like you said. It's what are you hunting? What are your goals? And unfortunately for me, like my last 2 bucks that I've shot with my bow, I've lost, and that's because I've hit front shoulder and a rear shoulder. And to be honest, having a fixed blade in those instances, I don't think it would have made a difference because they were poor shots. And I just have had such good experience shooting mechanicals on mule deer, whitetail, turkeys, to where it's like once again, like the same thing you just said, it is 1,000% shot placement. That's the biggest thing. Like you got to be in that window. It doesn't matter what broadhead you have, but you got to be in the window.
Yeah. I think it depends too on what kind of like they both can work for either, but like if you really want to get into the weeds on it, like if you're out in open country, South Dakota, mechanicals all day long because you're shooting potentially 70, 80 yard shots. Sometimes you need that arrow to fly as straight as it does when you're shooting field tips at your targets at home. Now, not saying that a fixed blade doesn't too, but it's a little bit different, a little bit more not thermodynamic, but my brain hasn't completely recovered yet. But and then like if you're shooting in thick where it's thick and tight, just thick cover woods, potentially maybe not shooting through a bush, but maybe hitting a couple leaves
for sure.
Fixed blades all day long.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like
but I think it ties into
back on it all day long.
Yeah, but I think it ties into the piece though too, where it's like I think people forget they just buy broadheads because it's fancy packaging or it's something they saw on TV or YouTube or whatever it is. But it's like it is a piece of your kit and it's a piece of your gear that you have to take in consideration of like what are you doing for your hunt? Are you tree stand hunting? Are you hunting from the ground? Are you hunting out west? Like those factors you kind of got to play it into, because it's like if you're going to shoot a fixed blade, you're probably going to have to do your due diligence to really tune your bow to get it to shoot right.
Well, you're going to have to probably sacrifice a couple fixed blade broadheads too.
Yeah.
Really, because you can't just shoot field tips and then go throw on a fixed blade and go try and take a 50-yard shot.
But you also should shoot your mechanicals too.
Yeah, I think you probably, I'll be honest, I don't, but I think, you get a little bit, you get away with it a little bit more, I guess, but with fixed blades, maybe not so much.
Well, I'm a prime example because this, like, once again, we're not perfect in anything that we do on this podcast. Like for me, like when I bought that bow used, and I've talked about it on the podcast before 2 years ago, I had those Mega Meats that I was shooting, and they come with that field point that's supposed to be a 100% match grade ballistic tip. And I shot the living freaking daylights out of that bow with those tips all summer, all the way out to 85 yards because we were going up to South Dakota that year, and felt great. And got out to South Dakota and I couldn't hit a barn at 20 yards with the real broadheads. And it was like, what the hell happened? And, my bow ended up being there. There are so many things that was wrong with the bow. I just remember the kid at the shop looking at it, is like, who put your bow together? And I'm like, I don't know, I bought it used. But it shot great with those match grade tips. But when I shot the real broadhead, I was dumb because I never shot the real broadhead to see how it actually flew.
Sure.
But, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's hunting.
That is hunting.
You learn from a lot of failure, and someday you might figure it out.
Yep. So, just kind of going on the rabbit hole. So just talking, this is actually kind of what I was just kind of going through, talking about some botch stories, which is kind of want to talk a couple little quick hunting stories. And then we're going to I want to go through and pick your brain on some waterfowl stuff, which is going to be super exciting considering now you are going to live in a spot you can actually go out and consistently like shoot birds.
Yep.
Which is going to be fun. But just give me a hunt that you can think of in the last, couple of years here that you've had either out in South Dakota, Minnesota that, you've kind of gone through and you've learned the tales of patience.
Mm-hmm. You're talking deer, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I haven't shot a buck in 6-7 years, so learned a lot. Let's put it that way.
A lot of patience.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
But you had chances though.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, and this kind of goes back to maybe a sense of pride of getting in the way of I'm not shooting anything under.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You've had standards, which is I commend you for that.
Yep. So I mean, it's what it is, but I think the thing is just like I try and look at each hunt as a chance to learn something new, maybe try something new, because I think a lot of times you get into it just the same old habit of I'm sitting this stand with this wind. It's like, well, maybe if you tried it different, something I might actually shoot a buck. Mm-hmm. But so I mean, I don't like. There's nothing real. I mean, South Dakota would be the two. That would be the one that pops in my head, I guess, more because it's completely new or newer to me, and so just learning that whole thing. Because like I can figure. I shouldn't say I can figure out the whitetail woods, but that's just a whole new style of hunting, and there's a lot of. It's a sharp learning curve where it's going to take time, and you need to have everything just dialed, whether it's your bow setup, your pack setup, everything just completely dialed in, because if you're putting miles and miles on your boots and you're carrying just too much shit, I mean, that's a learning opportunity. Wearing the wrong clothes, it's like there's just so many things where you get out there and you wear these pants and you're like, I've never sweat this much in my life, and boy, I'm not gonna wear these pants, you know what I mean? So it's like even simple things like that, you just start to like build that Rolodex in your head, build those, embrace the suck is pretty much my hunting career.
It's funny, you hear that reference of like, to catch a muskie, it's to fish a 10,000 casts. There's people, everybody across the country, there's so many people that get lucky every year that first time bow hunters, first time gun hunters that go out and shoot 170 inch, public or private land or whatever it is. Like it happens, Oh yeah. But it's like, I feel to kill a mature whitetail, it is almost a hunt of 10,000 hunts, trying to keep that same reference of where it's like, it doesn't happen in a day. It takes years of time of like having failed experiences to learn to finally be able to like, it's amazing once the stars kind of align in your head. It's like, oh, well, that makes sense, or that makes sense. And, you finally kill one. And it's just like, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to break it down in your head.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Like I said, I try and look at each hunt as a time to learn, but I mean, like we've talked about on here, just a time to decompress and just find some peace and quiet, with God out in the woods. And that's, whether it's whether it's the woods or whatever you're doing. For me, whatever I'm doing outside that's my church.
Do you have a funny one though? Like a moment? I for sure have two, but like a funny one where it was just, not your day in the woods, of where, like those Serenity Now moments where it's like, why, what am I doing?
Well, I had 19 stitches one time.
That was a bad one.
That was not good. The one that really sticks out is when we hiked way out into that piece in South Dakota and got out there. We saw deer, and we were on deer consistently those couple days. And that last night, it just absolutely poured rain on us.
2 inches, maybe.
And we were three large men, really, you know what I mean, in a 2-man tent. So literally nuts to butts.
Watching Django.
Yeah, that's right, in the middle of South Dakota. And then we had to put all of our stuff outside and wrap it in tarps to try and, it's not like we could tie up a lean-to with, there ain't no trees. And yeah, we got up in the morning and everything's wet.
Did anything stay dry?
No, I mean, I think I have a video of Noah pouring water out of his boot. Because it was just it's just what it is. And we had a 6-mile hike out, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think Noah and I were ready to kill each other by the time we got to the truck. It was almost to the point where it's like, Noah's going to go north around the property where we couldn't go into, and I'm going to go south, because if we continue down this path any longer, one of us isn't coming out. But then you get to the truck, and that's the fun part about hunting with dudes. It's like, yeah, you could be pissed off at each other for a couple hours, and then it's whatever. You get back to the truck.
My favorite though was like, we literally got back to the truck. We had, I think we all had a beer.
Yeah,
or maybe did we have a beer? I can't remember. Either we saw that deer before or it was after. And then
also we're driving out.
Oh yeah, and we're like, oh my god, there's like 145 inches like bedded in the ditch.
Literally right by the road.
Noah went and put a stock on him, lost his Crocs, never even came close to shooting the deer. I mean, we watched the deer run away, and we're just
to be fair, he had a blackfish black jacket on, and it's like,
so that's so funny. I remember that dog. He just like Black Panther just sticking out.
Yeah, that's right. That deer saw him coming from 6 miles away. He saw him coming when we left the tent.
It's a cow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's another good one. That's a
funny one.
Yeah.
I think mine is mine was definitely this way. You always got to check your gear. I had a slider pin. This is like, man, we're talking like 2010 maybe. So this is like back hunting like Miller's property, and this was an awesome piece that we had permission on. Well, Luke and I both did, and I missed a 12, or probably one of the bigger whitetails of my life. I missed a probably 150, 60-inch 12-pointer with my bow because I didn't have a rangefinder and I had a single pin sight, which is really stupid. But that same sight, after I bought a rangefinder that same season, I was out hunting at Grove Dolls, and I don't even remember who made the sight. I want to say it was a Trophy Ridge sight, but I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus because I don't remember, because it was probably my fault not tightening the sight down. Get out there. It's like a cold, crisp November, second morning before gun season. Like just the perfect time to be on the woods. Climb up the tree, all that good stuff. Get up in the tree, look at my bow. Don't have a housing for my sight. And I don't have a sight. I'm just looking at my bow. It's like you have that moment as a bow hunter, though. It's like, well, I could still shoot, maybe. It's like you're just like, you don't want to leave the tree stand because it's so good. And it's like, all right, this was fun. We're going back to the truck and going home.
Yeah, licking your wounds and trying again next time, right?
That's the fun thing, though. You said it all kind of beforehand with that, and we could tell 1,000 stories of botched opportunities. But it's like that's learning, man. That's hunting. That's the fun part about coming back to camp and being like, well, this happened,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Live and learn.
Yep.
Yeah, even some Boundary Water stories too. Bring up in my head too. So
actually, I might be going back to Boundary Waters. There's a chance
this year.
Yes, I don't know. I gotta get the thumbs up from the wife, but September maybe. It'd be opening weekend of bow, so I've never missed a bow opener my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be weird, but maybe there's a chance. So we'll see.
That'd be fun.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. So I want to pick your brain talking about waterfowl. And so we are starting probably in maybe August, we're not sure yet when we're going to drop it. We're going to have the Bucks and Ducks segment that we're going to do for I don't know, till October before we start kicking off the rut, chasing the rut stuff.
Yep.
But now that you are in the land of ducks, you're in the land of bucks, and you're in God's country. So
yeah,
good for you. Tell me what's shaking like early season for you?
Well, I gotta find a boat.
Boat number one.
That's number one. Been looking, had found a couple, but just kind of holding out, I guess, maybe for something I actually like. I'm one of those people that I don't rush into.
Yeah.
Anything that's over $100.
Well, but I mean, like, so outside of getting a boat, because I know you kind of need to get your setup and stuff. I mean, like, what can you, in terms of like the fly? See, this is where it's fun for me to learn. Like, in terms of the flyway and stuff. Like, what are you hunting early season?
Oh, I mean, for sure, teal, early teal, wood ducks. I mean, those are usually the two first.
September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I think it might even be the first. I'd have to look at the regs again, but yeah, I mean, wood ducks and teal are usually the first ducks that show up. You could listen to all the, whether it's Duck Gun, Chasing Green, Midwest Flyways. They wood ducks are pretty hard to decoy, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's just one of those things, but I think just small, simple spreads, because there's just not usually a ton of ducks that have pushed down yet. Motion, I don't know. It's again talking like fixed blade versus mechanical with the spinners and stuff. A lot of guys talked, about when spinners first came out. I mean, ducks would pour into setup, and now everyone's been running spinners for however many years, and it's kind of like, okay, what's the next new thing to trick these things, And I like,
you feel like, dude, like ducks have memory. Would you say for their lifespan? And we're like, God, you know what? We landed in this field 2 years ago, and Johnny tried to shoot us, and we got away.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be hard to know, because
I feel like a turkey remembers.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, turkey, I guess it'd be hard to tell if. I mean, like, I'm thinking deer, like, that what buck is what buck, you know what I mean? So like, ducks would be hard to distinguish. Like, oh yeah. There's that 4-year-old mallard again. You know what I mean? He's bastard. Coming. That 5-year-old mallard's back. He's here. Look at him. But I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say, like, with the motion stuff. I mean, I have a few spinners. I use them occasionally. I really like the jerk rigs. Get a little bit, and now they've got. I mean, there's all sorts of things. They've got. I mean, they got so many contraptions. They got like a thing that looks like a wheel, like a, picture a wheel with the sprockets coming out the middle, and then each line coming off of it, you hook up a decoy and it kind of just swims around. They have, God, what's that newer one where like it's the body of the duck and then the head just kind of, and then it kind of like looks like it's feeding. And so, I mean, like there's all sorts. You just need decoys. I wouldn't say is number one. Your hide is number one. If they see you, you could have the perfect setup every single time, whatever. But if they're flaring at 40 yards every single time, they see you. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So you gotta, if you're rolling out there in last year's duck blind or A-frame or layouts, wherever you're hunting, you got to match your hide to, if you got a bunch of dead grass and it's early season and it's all green, go cut some more grass and make it look a little better. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's where it's been fun having other people on. It's been fun learning from you. And I'm excited now that you're going to be, as soon as you get a boat and you get settled in, so maybe it won't happen until later in the season, but I'm excited to get out and like do some waterfowl hunting.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I'm going to definitely deer hunt still, but I'm going full send, and I got cool segment idea, or not segment, but cool little mini YouTube series I want to kick out here. Excuse me. Need to get out on need to go get that boat. But I mean, it's still early. Like even scouting right now, it's like any duck you see is local duck. And so.
When does that usually start happening, would you say? Like
scouting?
No, well, I mean, yeah, both scouting, ducks flying. heading south? I mean, is that like August? Is that like right away in September? Because I'm assuming like when these guys are flying, they might stick around, for, especially the migrators, maybe for a week and change, and then they're moving on, right?
I'm not going to pretend like I know a whole lot about waterfowl because I just don't. But, in my experience, yeah, I mean, cold fronts, just like deer, help with a push down, you could, yeah. And then, with scouting, I mean, at the absolute earliest, like mid-August, depending on what you're hunting, you know what I mean? If you're hunting early geese, I'd probably be knocking on doors right now, if not earlier.
Well, that's September,
fields.
Isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean for like fields, like you got to get them, lock up as many fields as you can. Just play it, when a field gets cut, get your.
I bought strangled a goose tonight.
Really?
Yep. Or what was it? Hole 9 out on Craigens. They were just hissing up a storm. I'm trying to hit a putt.
Yeah, they're mean.
And they're sitting just hissing at you. I'm like, I need to make this putt, and just staring at the goose like, get the hell out of the way.
It's like a bit off Happy Gilmore.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where my knowledge starts and stops, I suppose. And I'll learn a lot more this year.
So, I mean, just kind of going off that a little bit then. I mean, I know you got to get your stuff in a line, all that stuff. But in terms of where you're at geographically, is that a pretty good area, would you say, from hunting September through December? Just having consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the Mississippi Flyway.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, it's, weekends is crazy with people. So I'll definitely try and be strategic and watching weather and stuff where I can sneak out for, take a few out, take a half a day in the morning and work the afternoon. I'm definitely going to be doing that to get out on the water and shoot some ducks.
Is it set? Does Rogan know what happened yet?
I don't know. He's
Rogan, you can't hear me.
Hey, you want to go? Rogan should go.
He's tired.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, Dad, it's past my bedtime.
What do you do? I didn't even see he was on the bed.
Yeah. It's like a big bear rug.
Yep.
Yeah, we were out on the river Saturday. We brought him out and threw the ball. I mean, we were there for like 3 hours, and I don't think anyone stopped throwing it to him. So he probably did 40 retrieves. I'm like, well, he still got it in the tank, bud. But because if I'm shooting, I don't think I'll ever be shooting 40 ducks on one hunt. Yeah. So, but he was gassed on Sunday. He didn't do too much moving around. So
yeah, I started giving Copper that joint medicine you said to give, and it seems like it's helped a little bit. So
it don't hurt, right?
No, I mean it's better. It's hard. I mean they're both the same age, so Copper's obviously he's not the D1 athlete that Rogan is. He's more of like JUCO, like D3 JUCO, try hard. Never could make it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's exciting, man. It's I mean, really, that's going to be here before bow hunting for you.
Oh yeah, the first.
So that's exciting.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty jacked to get out there.
What do you think? Will you make it out for opener?
I think so. When is the first fall? It's probably a Saturday, so I'm looking at August. Well, it must not be the Monday. I don't think it'd open on a Monday. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get out as often as I can. That's the part of where I've been so sticky on what boat, because I'd like to get something big and wide so I can take the boys out and not be too worried about anything. Yeah, I'm not you're not hunting, or at least I'm not gonna be anyways. I'm not hunting like main channel. I'm hunting backwater, sloughs, cuts, all that fun stuff.
So what's it gonna take for you to convince Jenna to dig a 1/4 acre pond in your backyard?
Good luck. It's straight downhill. I don't know how I'd hold water.
You'd have to really build it up.
Yeah, no.
You know what? In spirit of you, my goal is to kill a couple ducks and a goose, maybe, or something off the pond this year.
Oh, at the farm?
We never did it, man. Like we still. I mean,
easily could have.
They're there. It's like it's hard when they're like little farm ducks like that just it's the same wood duck family that's been living there for 3 years.
Yeah,
it's just like
they've become pets at that point.
It's
right?
a little bit different.
Yeah, the opener's on the 1st, so that's a Monday.
Oh,
so
that's
man,
weird.
I
Wow.
have to put in my
PTO
right now.
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah, so no, I'm excited, man. It'll be good. I had a lot to learn, so I know I'm gonna mess up an absolutely ton, but you know,
Hey,
shooting that first duck out of the boat
feel good.
when with Rogan retrieving it's gonna be real nice.
I've been meaning to ask this. I mean, obviously, it's not like, so if the viewers don't listen, you know, I'm still up in Brainerd. Luke is in La Crosse. You know, the farm is back in just outside of Austin there. So it's not like, it's only an hour away. But
Right.
in terms of like pheasant hunting, is there birds or spots to hunt birds over by you?
And there's no wild, they stock them.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
That's crazy to me to think that you literally could drive an hour west and all of a sudden it's like you're just in the pheasant country.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, like when I get back home, I'll be buying a Minnesota pheasant license this year for sure. Because
I hope so. We have a lot of birds to kill.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I told Rogan, like, yeah, we're trading pheasants for ducks, but we'll still get on some roosters.
Good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like mixing things up a little bit now. You know, it's fun talking about hunting and kind of getting back into it now, but it is good that we can still kind of touch base a little bit and stuff. So I feel like this one's kind of near and dear to me because I feel like I've kind of felt this throughout my life. But just, have you had moments and I just think of you kind of too, where it's like maybe just because we've talked about this a little bit, just like, you know, the months and weeks kind of leading up to you guys getting the new house, you know, like, do you feel like, or you felt those spiritual signs of like God, like kind of giving you those little nods or those little signs of like encouragement, or just like, you know, just kind of something like that, of where it's like you feeling his presence of being there in certain times when you weren't expecting it, or maybe you're asking for it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was not rough, but just a stressful 2 months of just craziness and new job stuff going on, grandpa passing, you know, all that stuff. And so, you know, and just kind of getting, quite honestly, dicked around by the buyers at our old house. And so,
okay, it's all said and done now. So.
Yeah, it's like I'm sitting in my new house. I can't complain.
Can't go back.
No, but I mean, I was at a low point, I think, and I was like, we were at my parents the one night, and I was just like stressed to the nine because it was like all this other stuff with the old house going on, and I'm like, I gotta go for a walk. I literally just went for, I don't know, walk to this old bridge we used to play at as kids, and I just got to a point where I was like almost in tears. I was like, you know, like I said, grandpa just passed and stuff, and I was just like, I've never asked God for a sign in my life, like, you know, tell me what, you know, kind of thing. And I was just like, God, all you need to do is just give me one sign. And I'm like staring down at the bridge at the water. I'm just like, give me just one sign or just something. And just that'll make me know that everything will be just fine. And like literally as I thought the word fine, I looked up, looked left, and this deer walked out, stared at me for like 2 minutes, just staring. Didn't, you know, typically a doe was going to stomp at you and then blow and she's gone, but just stared at me. You know, I kind of turned and she didn't care, and she just kind of walked off, and I was like, oh, that was it. That was enough. Mm-hmm. And yeah, everything obviously worked out just fine, you know? And so, you know, I think you just have to be willing to be okay with quiet and the unknown, and just goes back to everything we've talked about on this for the last year and change. Is just, you got to just give it up and give it to God, because you're going to hit a point in your life where you aren't going to have the answers. You're not going to know what way to turn, what to say. And you just got to put that trust in the Lord. And, you know, he uses those moments, I think, obviously for teaching, whether it's the silence, whether it's the stress, whether it's the whatever. And you just have to be willing to just try and recognize that. And it's hard, but you know,
that's a good one, man. Yeah, it's so true. And it's one of those things too where I feel like we are really good at not listening or seeing the signs, I feel like, until we put ourselves in a situation where we are forced to accept, or not, I shouldn't say accept, or we're forced to, we're at like kind of like where you're at the point of like, I give in. I am at my wit's end of where it's like, you know what? I'm listening now. And it's amazing how like quiet and calm things can get in life. And then you feel it, you see it, and it's like, man, it's an incredible feeling to feel. And it's just like, he's real. Yeah, so that's a cool one. Good one.
Yeah. Yep. God is good, man. It like I said, stressful stuff, but could be a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, amen to that. And yeah, this is good. This is a good one. I'm just trying to think of, I had some rapid fire questions I was going to hit you with, and where did they go? I had some, but I'm going to save them because you're still new. You're still new to, I mean, lacrosse isn't new to you, but I had some more like particular town questions, but I'll let you guys get settled in and we'll kind of go with that. But yeah,
sure.
No, this was a fun one. And like I said, we're kicking off, getting back into the bow hunting and talking about ducks and talking about bucks. And it's going to be a fun next couple of weeks. And it might have maybe a couple of fishing stories here and there, but summers, we're literally at the
right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle. Yeah, I'm horrible with picking dates. I I couldn't figure out when summer started. Summer's over now, and we're like it's not even it's like July 15th.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, this will go in though. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.